to be honest, the blame is only on Obi Franklin and the mother for me.
Hello everyone, good day and welcome to another exciting episode of Paul's Hot Takes. For those who do not know, on this show, we pretty much give you our takes regarding topical issues and we drop it hot. We give it to you as day hot. My name is Rachel M. Isaac. I will be the host of the session today. You guys know that I am never ever alone on the show. I have here with me some regular guests and some new guests. Okay. But first, I'd like to go to this very beautiful lady in black to my right. How you doing, mother?
Good morning. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here. Please introduce yourself, what you do. Say your market.
Okay. My name is Zusi Bolodioku. I'm a behavior analyst. I work with neurodivergent children. Okay, let me put that in a way that everyone would understand. So I work with children that are on the spectrum. I work with autism spectrum. I work with ADHD children that have neurodevelopmental disorder, pretty much. And then I have a creative center in Lucky Phase 1 where we do gymnastics and all that. Fun things.
Alrighty. Cool. And to my left here, another beautiful lady in black. How you doing, mama?
Hi. Hello. I'm Ima Elijah. I'm a media expert and I work with Pulse. I'm a senior reporter with Pulse.
Okay, so good to have you here today. And the gentleman in black and blue.
All right, guys. Hey, my name is Ojo Okunofor, the entertainment guy. Pulse, so good to have you guys here with us today.
All right, guys. So today on Pulse Hot Takes, our topic is a very, very sensitive one. So about 2 weeks ago, Obi Franklin, music executive Obi Franklin, put up a post about how his friend's 10-year-old daughter was raped on a trip to Dubai. So according to him, they went for an event organized by her school and she was raped by her fellow students, and it got a lot of people talking. So long story short, one investigation led to another, and after all of the videos were put up, we realized that it wasn't exactly what we thought it was. Some things were not quite right. So today we're talking about how children of today are not exactly the leaders of tomorrow, but they are the leaders of today because they are doing mighty things. So if they are not recording sex tapes and uploading them online, they are going to hotel rooms to try to get rooms for themselves and for their friends, or they're helping kidnappers do their jobs and getting paid 5,000 naira. So this is a major concern, and that's exactly why we're here today. All right, so let me start with you because you have experienced children, you work with them. So do you think that the schools have failed us? I mean, look at the case with Karen Akpaga and the Sylvester boy. What do you think? Do you think the schools have failed the children?
I would say that we have failed the children, not the schools. The adults, the influential adults in their lives have failed them. I mean, these children they're children. Why children come into this world and you have the adults to direct them, to lead them aright? Let me put it that way. Obviously, there's no there's lack of good parenting. There's lack of good parenting in a lot of those scenarios, especially the most recent one. I think there's a problem with parenting. And of course, I would say that the school did not do well. They did not do well. Where were the adults when the kids went to do what they were doing? I mean, kids would always be kids. They will always be kids. If you say it's after midnight, then why wasn't any adults there with them? Like, where were the adults? What were they doing?
Did she have access to the room?
Absolutely, So yes, we have all failed these children. So I don't think it's about the school, it's about the parents. It's really about us as individuals and how we intend to raise. I mean, before it was, there's this saying, it takes a village to raise a child. But now, there's you can't be walking, a child can't be walking on the street and any adult would say, oh no, don't do that. They will ask you like, what's wrong with you? What's your own? Yes. So morally, there is a big gap and there's no need for us to be blaming, no need. We have all failed these children.
All right.
Period.
So do you agree with her, or do you think that, do you even think that schools are still safe for children of nowadays?
I do think that schools are still safe. I remember when I was young, we'll go for excursions like this. We'll be lodged in hotels, and my friends and I will sneak out of the hotels. You understand what I mean? So I agree with her. Kids will always be kids, but as regards to the school, I don't necessarily think that an adult would be in a hotel room with the child 247. They did their checks. I mean, following the story online, especially the quotes from Wizkid's baby mama,
Yeah.
she said that the adults did their check. 3 checks.
Rachel, why are you rolling your eyes?
3 checks. I feel like that's enough. This is not something that we can blame the school or blame the people that were on duty or anything. The people to be blamed are people that are going to be blamed, which are actually the kids. Yes, they are kids. Yes, they go wild. Yes, if you let kids move around on their own, they would be animals, but they are still to blame, because I want to believe that no parents will tell the child, oh, when you go here, this is what you do. No school will say, when you go here, this is what you do. It's something that was out of really anybody's hands. It was really in the kids' hands. So again, parenting, yes. Not just parenting. The general Nigerian moral upbringing is actually gone. We had a community. When I was growing up, it was like a community. If I mess up, my mom's friend will smack me.
Absolutely.
yes.
I posted yesterday that if your kids move funny around my kids, I will smack your kids. And I had people in my DMs arguing with me, oh, if you beat my kids. I said, if your kids move funny around my kids, I will smack them. If you like, behave anyhow, I will smack them.
Yeah.
That's it, period. Because if your kid is moving funny, my kid is going to copy what your kid is doing.
Yes.
And I'm not going to that's my own parenting style. So if you don't want your kids smacked, better train them well from home. Because if they're coming close to my kids, they are going to get smacked. Period.
All right. So a lot of people are of the opinion that this thing did not just start now, that it's something that has been happening. Like, I remember doing mommy and daddy, but not to the point of what we have been seeing on social media. So a lot of people are saying, oh, these things have been happening since that, just because there's social media now, that's why they are bringing it to light. A lot of people are blaming it on bad parenting. A lot of people are blaming it on peer pressure. So, Odion, I want to ask you, how exactly do you think we got here? What exactly and who exactly is to be blamed?
Okay, so I'd like us to say it this way. Bad kids did not just start existing in 2013, 2012, 2022. So bad kids are existing from, say, even in our
Time
parents'
immemorial.
time, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. We're talking as if every adult we have in society now well-behaved or well-mannered, or we have responsible adults everywhere. Like, we have adults that when they talk in public, you'd be like, who's your dad?
Who raised you? Who raised you?
I grew up in the 90s and 2000s, so secondary school and all that stuff. So when I was growing up, we used to attend home lessons, because my dad didn't like to see us at home during the holidays. It felt like we were going to destroy things. So he would say, go for holidays. There was this particular mom who used to come with her kids, and her son was very stubborn. She would hit this boy, even beat the boy in our presence, thinking she was fixing the guy up. It never turned out that way. He was now he's actually a great guy, but from his teenage years, university years, it was not somebody you wanted to associate yourself with. So when people talk about, these kids of nowadays, yes, we're getting to see these things now because we have the access to the internet.
Yes.
So, like, for example, I was on my way to work this morning. I already got a message from somebody that they are robbing like 2 junctions before.
Yeah.
So in 1992, I don't think anybody would get that kind of message
No.
and say somebody's robbing 2 streets ahead.
No.
So because we have social media now, that's why we see these things. I'm sure some parents that are probably in their 70s, when they see these things or get this, they'll remember their children who are probably in their 40s now, who probably had themselves involved in messy, like, I'm sure kids were expelled from schools in 1990, in the 90s, in the 80s now. These things, like, they did terrible things that they can't even say now. Like, I know of 2 brothers who went to a school and they threw a whole pot of soup. Like, the whole dormitory the whole school, they're supposed to eat for dinner. Like, the whole school, a big federal government college. Like, they threw the pot of soup and they were sent home that day. So if there was social media at that time, I'm sure everybody would have been they would probably tag the story. Two SS2 students, blah blah blah, pot of soup and all that. Everybody would start shouting, oh my god. But this happened like in the early 2000s and 1990s. So if we're thinking of saying who are we going to apportion the blame to, you're all just going to sound maybe biased if you say it's the parents, or if it's the school, or if it's this. It's a general thing. But basically, for sincerely speaking, every child is going to pick up whatever he wants to pick up from the home. Okay, yeah, it depends on where you grew up from. If your parents are very responsible parents, it's not to say you might not have responsible parents and you turn out bad. Yeah, you might turn out bad, but But the chunk of children who actually turned out well are children from responsible homes. We have to be sincere to ourselves.
True.
I'm not even going to brag
Very
about
true.
it. My dad was
Very
very
true.
I'm sure my friends, they watch this video and they see, they know my dad. My dad was so strict to the point that he knew my friends, their parents, where they lived. He knew whoever was coming to my. There was a day my friend, we were just in secondary school, my friend drove his dad's car to my house. And he told me when he parked the car outside that I actually stole this car. And there was no key, so I used the wire to start the car. A very expensive car.
Criminal.
So we just finished secondary school. My dad just came out and saw the car and he was like, guy, who are you? Why are you driving this? Who owns this car? I was like, my dad said, so you stole this car. My dad didn't even know what was happening. He just said, so you stole this car. I was like, he couldn't even say anything. He said, okay, now go back home. Take this car and go back home. And I was so angry, embarrassed. But years after, when I sit down and think about these things, I'll be like, come on. Yeah, if your parents are not saying the right things to you, letting things slide. Oh, they say kids will be kids. You know that saying, kids will be kids.
Yeah.
A kid tells an adult, shut up your mouth. And you're like, it's just 5.
No.
Yeah, so it's just 5. So let it slide. So that's when we get to the point where a 10-year-old or 13-year-old is showing up in a very, very censored or weird video. I don't want to give it a name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
All right. So I came across a video on social media yesterday where a pastor was saying that the problem that we have nowadays is that he's going to blame all that has happened on bad parenting, and here is why. That most parents feel like it's the responsibility of the schools to train their children, but it really
Big
isn't.
fail.
It is their responsibility to educate them
Big
to a
fail.
certain degree,
No.
but it is on you to train your children.
Yeah.
Because charity begins at home.
At home, yes.
There are a lot of things that I would want to do, but even at this age, when I think of it, my mother's voice in my head, or I think of all the
course.
backhand slaps that I got, I no fit do am.
Mhm.
Do you understand my
True.
point?
Yeah.
So I think that's it. It's also let's not go to that video. So now let's all be on the same page before I say what I was about to say. Have you seen the video?
I have not, but someone has actually called, like, because I can't
Okay.
see the video because
Okay.
of media ethics, to be honest.
Okay.
So, but I was so inquisitive about it. So I called
Yeah.
someone who told me she had seen the video
Okay.
to explain exactly what she saw. So she explained that, which kind of like corresponds with what other people have been saying about the
Mhm.
video online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw that video. I'll be sorry. So she saw that video and she
saw the
explained
video.
it. She explained it to me. And there's one thing I'm going to say about that. I'm going to say that the mother, because the mom had said she had seen the video. In the
Yes.
video that the mom
Yes.
put out. The
Yes.
mom
Yeah.
came out first.
Yeah.
Mother and Ubi Franklin came out first
True,
Yeah.
true,
to talk.
true.
And for even Ubi Franklin,
I
for
don't even
someone
think
that
he
is
saw
so,
the video before he came
Ah.
out.
to be honest,
sure.
to be honest, because
Well, okay.
for Ubi Franklin, someone so highly placed, you know, I expect you to have some level of media knowledge, to be honest.
Do your
Before you
due
come out to make
diligence.
Yes.
certain allegations, we're in 2022. We're in a time where people have made false allegations, people have made
Yes.
correct allegations. We've seen
Yeah.
people tussle and battle this thing. COVID period was intense. After COVID was intense. Every year we have like very serious rape allegations. And people are now very sensitive. In fact, it's always been sensitive, but even more sensitive now because media moves faster
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And for you to make a rape allegation, for you to come out to seek, because the mom literally came out to seek public sympathy. If you're coming out to seek public sympathy, the public is not just going to give you sympathy with no basis.
Get your facts
True.
right.
Do you understand? You say 13-year-olds raped your kid. Yeah? What people want to see is the facts. What are the facts?
Mm-hmm.
What are the facts? Okay, your daughter has given a story. Great. Now, a video that is actually factual, a video that people can
Has
see,
everything.
that has
Yes,
everything
yes.
has come out. And the fact that you are claiming a rape after you've seen that video means that other people, if they are coming out to seek my sympathy, I'll go and check the video too
Yeah.
before I give you the sympathy. I
Yeah.
will not just give you sympathy on a platter of gold. So she directed the traffic. The mother directed the traffic. The mother and Ubi Franklin, I blame them, to be honest, for how this thing exploded. They directed the traffic to the video. Then Ubi Franklin comes on live to say, oh, people should not watch the video. No, you directed the traffic. You told
Yes,
me it was
you
a
did.
rape. So
Yeah.
people will go to find out. Normally, we are inquisitive. We're human beings.
Yeah.
So we went to find out whether it was true or not. And now people have their own various opinions. And now everyone involved, like the parents and Ubi Franklin, are offended by the opinions that people have. And some people will stop watching the video. You can't even
Can't
stop people
stop
from watching
it.
the video now because
Yeah.
you've already directed the traffic.
True.
And now
Okay.
people need to, because if we're going to stand by you, the way we stood by Sylvester, the way we stood by what's the girl that was killed last year? God bless her soul. Hini Umoren.
Yeah.
Hini Umoren, was it not Twitter that they found her
It was
location?
Twitter, yes.
We are all citizen journalists these days. So when you come out to say, oh, this has happened, people are going to go into investigation mode, period.
Yeah.
True.
So the traffic that they directed, it was very non-professional. I would not expect that from Obi Franklin. That was a big on their part. They put the entire Nigeria into a frenzy last night or yesterday. People went seeing the videos. People had to do illegal things just to satisfy their curiosity. And to be honest, the blame is only on Obi Franklin and the mother for me.
Okay, and have you seen the video?
I have not seen the video. I don't want to watch it either. Just like she said, I think that watching it is or seeing it is like is against my ethics. I mean, they're minors. For Christ's sakes, they're minors. So, and but based on what I have heard, I hear that what the story the mom came out to say,
Very different
and what actually happened are totally different things.
Okay.
So, whereas I would say that, yes, the parenting and all that, the school too, I would put the blame on the school, the way they handled whatever they handled. Okay. You found out that these children had they were engaged in some inappropriate activities. What did you do? What was the first thing you did? You took the girl against, I don't know if this is true.
Allegedly. Because that's not been confirmed.
Yeah.
Yes. They denied it.
For the pregnancy test.
They released a statement that they didn't do that.
Well, maybe that is just.
Okay.
However, the best thing to do at that point is get the parents involved. I mean, these are kids. Let's not forget that they are kids. There's a reason why a 2-year-old, a toddler will behave a certain way that a 7-year-old will not behave. The brain takes its time to develop, and until individuals become like 25 to 27, that's when people can actually make decisions that are intentional, because that's when the brain is fully evolved and developed. So it's not the children's fault. I would never say it's the kid's fault.
Okay.
No. And the behavior, every behavior, I'm a behavior analyst, by the way. Every behavior has its purpose.
Okay.
Yes. And it is either the behavior is a behavior for tangibles, access to tangibles, a behavior, escape behavior, attention behavior.
Okay.
Yes, there are different kinds of, like, we do things for different reasons. And what I see with this girl, because I saw some TikTok videos of her, is she's definitely crying out for attention. Let's go and check for antecedents. What has happened in the past?
Yes.
Can we investigate? These children are the victims here. How do the children get to this point? It's very dicey the way we handle this thing. Yeah. This could either break this girl to the point of becoming suicidal if they are not careful, or they can get a reformed human. So it really, my point is problem solving. What are we doing about it?
Yeah.
These children they should be in therapy right now as we speak. They should take the girl away from that environment. This environment is not safe for her. They should take her away from there.
But now my question, I agree with therapy for the girl. I agree with you with therapy for all the other students involved. Even the child, because there was a child there who was saying that all I can do is have dirty chat. So I cannot do the things that they are doing. This one is 11, this one is 13. That child too he needs therapy. That one you can tell that his parents are doing the work, or whatever it is that they've done in the past is affecting him in a positive light. They all need therapy. But my question now is, what is the assurance that where they are taking them to, they won't have abusers? Nigeria is this is not a Nigerian thing. When you're dealing with kids, you have to be very careful.
Yes.
Because we're talking the fact that they did it within themselves. Have you thought about self-sex? Have you thought about how badly damaged this girl is? Yeah. So you're taking her somewhere, you're putting her by herself or with girls. Do you think that she cannot carry out the same act with the same sex? So I don't think it's just therapy. And if it's not going to involve them finding out what happened thoroughly, it's just going to be a waste of time. She'll just go and come back and be worse. I mean, we've had cases like that in the past.
True. And antecedents, in behavior, we have the ABC of behavior, right? Mm-hmm. So before you say a certain behavior is going to happen again, you want to see it happen again, you look at the antecedents, you look at the behavior in itself, and you look at the consequence. The consequence could be reinforcing, that's increasing the behavior, or could be a punishment. Punishment is not punitive, by the way. It could be removing an aversive or something. What that child needs right now is first and foremost love, because I don't understand a narrative of love. What she's seeking, the kind of attention she's seeking, is obvious. She does not have love. I stand corrected. So I'm assuming she doesn't have love. When she's in an environment where there's love, where you have responsible adults that are trying to, okay, of course, antecedent, sorting out the antecedent, what led to this behavior, and giving her the love that she requires, or the other children they require, then I think that would start making sense.
I see that we're talking about therapy for the girl, and everyone has been mentioning the girl. Yeah. So, John, as a boy, what do you think can be done to help? Yes, you're a boy, you're a man. Okay, as a man, as a male child, as a man, what do you think can be done to change or help the boy?
Okay, so it's pretty early now. They're still preteens, so maybe teenagers. So I'd like to let me give this typical example about myself. So when I was say 12, 13-ish, I had this serious anger issue. Like I just get triggered. You just say something, I'm thinking of how to hit you and all that. I was losing friends. My siblings were kind of getting withdrawn. And this happened till like I was still 14, 15-ish. And I sat down by myself and I realized that I was losing friends and my siblings are kind of getting withdrawn and all that. Like, is this the kind of life you want to live? Like, I'm actually a very chilled, quiet person. So why am I getting all this angry and this whole thing? And I worked on myself and I started seeing things from other angles. And no matter what you say, I won't get pissed. I was like, okay, I'm just going to walk out from that situation. Now, that was something I did by myself.
Oh.
Yeah. So now these kids have parents who are probably very wealthy, have access to funds and can actually finance or whatever therapy they can go through. They are very young. They can still be worked on, especially for a male child. A male child is, so, okay, there's this thing about with men, ego. Like, you want to be seen as, I'm a man, even as a child. Like, it starts early. Like, as a young, maybe when you're a guy as a 14-year and you have younger siblings who are girls, you always want to feel like you are the one holding their hands to work at. Like, it just starts, it's just there. Yeah. So now this guy, the guys in that video, they need therapy. They need love. Absolutely. They need it's not just about saying, oh, if you continue with this lifestyle, you're going to end up like this, last eternity. Don't start giving. I'm not saying I'm a nice person. I'm trying to make them sound like they're not going to start saying, oh, you're going to end up as a criminal or the next this or the next that. It's all about saying, this is life, this is your choice. Like do you want to be this? Do you want to be that? You have time. Yeah. So you're not talking about 19-year-old kids, like children with the eye done already. That's you're talking about children. So you're saying, are you ready to be this person? Do you think now we can actually get you guys? Now your faces, like they said about the video, like I really think I purposely. You haven't
seen the video. So I'm the only one who has seen this video. Why?
The reason I refused to watch that video is because I didn't want a situation where I start thinking about why would these children doing this? I just wanted a situation where it would be a yes thing. There are things that I'm a journalist, but I'm supposed to have seen that video for my career, for job purpose. But I just said no for work purpose. I was like, no, this is child. Like what people, the way they gave the description was like child pornography. So I was like, no,
it was.
So it is rather. You want to be part of it because initially they said it was rape, then they said it was something else entirely. So the guys in that video, they need help. So it's not about saying, oh, now we're going to move these kids to an all male school. So because you were frolicking with a woman, now you have to go to an all boys school. You're probably going to make it worse. Trust me, because things that happen in all male school, let's not even start that chapter today. So what these children need is just help, love, because they probably don't have, like she said, this thing can be traced back to their homes. You know, when kids don't get attention from their parents, love and all that, it's just money, school fees. You can buy all the clothes they need, you can buy everything they want to eat, but there's no attention. You're not, for example, the video the mom released, she said when the school called her, she said, I'm going somewhere outside Lagos. When I get back, I will come. See, if in my time when my dad was still alive, if when they call him in our school for anything, my dad shows up. Sometimes he might not even be properly dressed because he will think something has gone wrong. There was a day my school caught fire, my secondary school caught fire.
Yeah.
It wasn't even my school, it was the next building. But somebody just ran to our house and told my popsy that our school was burning. My dad drove to our school without shirts. He was wearing just boxers and it was embarrassing. But he showed up.
He had to show up.
Yeah,
for
he
it.
showed up. Yeah. So when the school
Yeah,
when the school's
showing
telling you that we need to see you because of your child, and you're telling the school I'm going out of Lagos, I'll see you when I get back. It shows that you're just paying school fees.
Yeah.
You're not really there.
You're
So
not there.
You're not there. So what this means is these kids, they need love, like she said. They need care. Forget whether they are grown-ups now, they are 12 or 13 years old. No, it doesn't matter. They are babies. They need the love, they need the attention from their parents. And this can just be in the next 1 or 2 years, it will look as if nothing ever happened. You just have new kids who are treading a new path, and like, that's the past. That's one chapter in my life that we probably don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right. So the reason I was asking if you all have seen this video, well, you haven't seen it, but you have an idea of what the video is.
Sure.
Would this situation be termed as rape? Would you
Termed
call
what?
it rape? Rape. Yes.
I don't think it will be termed rape.
Actually,
Because some people are still arguing that because they are below the age of 18, that they are below the legal age, that
that's
it's
statutory.
rape. Yes.
It's statutory rape.
Yes.
That's the definition of statutory rape.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because they are minors.
Because they are minors. Yes.
Statutory
Okay,
rape.
but the definition of rape is when someone has sexual intercourse without the other person's
Consent.
That's if they
Yeah.
can consent to it. That's what we're saying, that they are not
Oh.
18 yet.
So
So they
both of them
don't.
are-
So
Yeah.
statutory rape
So
affects
who's-
everyone,
so
not
who's
just
going
the
to
girl
be-
or
yeah,
the
The boy
so
boy.
rapes the girl, the
Yes.
girl rapes the
So-
boy.
yeah. So they are all victims of the thing.
Statu- yes.
Yes.
Yes. So they are all victims. So nobody.
Yes.
So I guess that's what we're
That's
going
what's
to
called
address. Yeah,
statutory
so
Oh,
we're
rape.
going
that's
to
what
address.
I think I've just learned that. I didn't know that.
It's
Yeah.
actually
You understand?
statutory
So I guess
rape.
that's
yeah.
another thing that people need to learn.
Yes.
We are not, as Nigerians, to be honest, especially if you grew up the age, our parents didn't really sit down and talk to us about all these things. So many people do not. Now I think
Makes more
it makes more sense
Yeah.
if they put it that way,
Yeah.
if that's what they mean.
True.
If they are not meaning the violent rape thing,
Mhm.
if that's what they mean, then that makes more sense. But I'm also going to weigh in on the fact that we all generally need to educate ourselves a little more.
Yes.
Parents, children, teachers, everybody needs to educate themselves a little more, because this is the conversations being had are not very, people talking are not talking intelligently. Do you understand what I mean? People are just talking out of their feelings.
Yeah.
Very
You understand?
emotional.
And part of being educated is being able to tell yourself the truth.
Yeah.
When you see something, you tell yourself the truth. I mean, if you're a parent, you hear that your child does something bad. I know naturally parents' instinct is to defend. Is to defend. Oh, my child is the person who is victimized. My child is this. Whether you are I haven't heard anything from the male parents, the parents of the guys.
Yeah.
So I guess that's another reason why more attention is on the girl, because the girl's parents are really, speaking up about it. So the male kids are not really talking about, which I feel is wise. Which I honestly feel is wise. Let the boys' parents, all the boys that were there, let their parents just remain
Quiet.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
because now this
yeah.
girl's face is everywhere. The girls, people have gone to find her TikTok, her Instagram, whatever.
Yes.
People have now judged her based off of what they are seeing online about her. But these boys are not known because their parents have been shut. And that's how you treat children issues. Take it to the closed doors. Attack the school. If you're going to attack the school, attack.
Do
if you're
it
going to
behind-
go to
yeah,
the
I
government,
think-
go to the
yeah.
government.
The
Yes,
reason
that's what I
why we're
think
even
so.
having this topic and conversation is the father or the mother of that child told Ubi Franklin.
Yeah. That's
And
what
we
I'm
know,
saying.
if Ubi sneezes, the whole of
Shake. Yeah,
Nigeria
that-
will shake. So if Ubi says, I went to buy fuel today and the fuel attendant cheated me, everybody will want to know the petrol station.
Yeah.
So now you go on Twitter where every Nigerian, and I think it was in the public holiday, and people were
Yeah.
like chilling at home, and you're saying, and you're releasing a thread, and you're
They
saying
raped the 10-year-old.
10-year-old. Like you're going to, there's going to be outrage.
It's
People-
so
people are
sensitive.
going- yeah, people are
That's
going
why I
to
said
say,
that this
Especially
whole
with all
fuck up, I
that's
put it
been
on Ubi
going
and his
on.
mom.
Yes.
El's mom.
people are going to say, who's this? Where's the school? Who's the parent? And this and
Absolutely.
all that. Yeah, but the moment he did that, he had already exposed that family.
Yeah.
So like she
Yes.
said, yeah, the fact that the kid, the boys in the school involved in that video where they've been able to keep them away from the limelight, it's a very good thing because they are kids. Let's not say it's a good thing because why is it that it's only the girl that's out there?
Yes.
The reason it's okay for those kids to be out of the picture is because they are children.
There's children.
Yeah,
we
so that
need to
we
protect
need to
them.
protect
I think
them.
I
Yeah.
think
them.
we're getting
Yeah.
something wrong here. The fact that no one has come out to defend the boys, or the fact that their names have not been mentioned, does not mean that people who know that family
Yeah.
would not know that that's their
Yeah.
son.
True.
So we're
True.
talking trauma for this child for a very long time
Yes.
that might never go away.
Yes.
The fact that the father hasn't come out, the mother has, it does not mean that we don't know. People who know them now, you have cases like, I don't want to see you with that boy. I don't want to see you with the
True.
family. I don't want you to see.
True.
So it's
Yeah.
also going to affect
Stigma
them. So
and
it's not
stigmatized,
exactly a good thing. I'm not supporting the fact that the girl's mom came up and said all of the things that she said. I would have
Okay.
preferred if she had not even done anything,
any-
because that
anyway.
was when, I don't think it's on Ubi now. Yes,
Mm.
I think it's on the woman, because even when Ubi came out, he did not say na so person. He didn't mention
he didn't
like
mention
Jazz
the
name.
school.
He didn't mention name.
yeah.
And even if the woman had not come out, those who do not know, those who know the girl without seeing the woman, they would not still believe that it's the woman's child. Let's be fair. Because if you see my side view, if I deny tomorrow that it's not me or it's not my child, you cannot really, it's not me and it's not my child.
Yeah.
But she has come out, she has said her name, people know, they'll be like, this is this person. So now it's trauma for the parents, it's trauma for the boys, it's trauma for the kids. So it's just a very messed up situation.
Yeah, very
Can we
messy.
also
That,
should
but
be
that is
handled
not
properly.
irredeemable. It's
No,
redeemable.
of course it's very
actually.
redeemable.
Yeah,
It's
of
very
course,
redeemable.
Of course, they still have their
I'm just
entire
saying,
life.
let's not now
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
the woman or the girl is the person who is now going to get the major fall.
No.
It's going to
No.
affect all
It's
of them
yeah,
equally
absolutely.
for a very long time. We're
Absolutely.
talking trauma. So the reason what I've asked you people if you've seen the video and everything, and then someone mentioned sex education.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this sex education thing, because it's a major issue that every time we bring it up, parents shy away from it. I remember when I was growing up, I stumbled on a book titled Sex Education, and that was my first introduction to sex.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd finished secondary school. I knew that, I would follow my friends to their boyfriends' places, and they would be having like proper knacks beside me. I'll be there like, okay, how does this feel?
Rachel.
Did I want to try it? Yes. But because I knew that my parents, I was too sure that my mother would kill me if she found out that I was having sex. I'm telling you.
Oh, wow.
Because if you take meat from the pot alone, it's either your body leaves your soul or your soul leaves your body. How much more sex?
Yeah.
So I stumbled on that book and it did help me. But there are some kids who would not know about it. Till today, the most difficult conversation I can have with my mom is about periods. And it shouldn't even be so. I'm in my 30s. It shouldn't even be so.
Okay.
So what role do you think that sex education would have played in all of this?
Okay, I can speak on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I think
Your
that
mom.
I think that we should, those difficult conversations, those things that we should start from when kids are very young, when they are toddlers.
Mhm.
Let them know the right words. There's nothing like pee. There's nothing like, let them know what their private
Okay.
areas are. And you will see that when you start from when they're very young, you demystify the gravitas. Let me put it that way. You
Yeah.
demystify it, and it becomes things that you
Random.
put. Yes, like my son comes to
Normal.
my room naked. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to see your penis. It's not something I want to see right now. And my son goes away because
It's normal.
it's normal.
Yeah.
So mommy needs her privacy. I'm in the shower. I need my privacy. Things like that. Yes. When this happened, I have they are 9 in May. They're a set of twins, a boy and a girl. And I called them and I explained to them, this is what happened. This is it. What is your opinion? And what is your opinion? And my son asked, what exactly were they doing? I said, well, the boy they touched each other inappropriately. My daughter said, oh, like sex. I said, yes, like sex. What do you know? Because these are open conversations in my house.
Yeah.
We talk, what do you think? Oh, when they touch each other in inappropriate ways. I said, where is inappropriate? And they touch them. My daughter said, yeah. I said, yes. So are we supposed to do that? Is this something we're meant to do now? No. My daughter said, no, when I'm an adult. My son said, and when I'm 16. I said, then we'll talk about that when you're 16. Because
Right.
they look forward to their first date when they're 16.
Yeah.
Or the first time because they have crushes. Let's even start from crush. It's actually normal for a 6 or 7-year-old child to have a crush.
Yeah.
I had a crush.
I did.
But parents forbid it.
Nah.
Don't talk about it. Whereas this is a normal, natural feeling.
Yeah.
When my kids came and my daughter was like, oh, she liked one boy when she was in year 2. I told her, guess what? When you're in year 3, you won't like him again. Don't worry. And she was in year 3. She liked someone else. I said, I told you so. So we talk about those things at home. Demystify it.
Yeah.
It's something it's conversations we can trivialize and just have this. And the children, when your child knows that mommy, daddy will never judge me, you are their safe space.
Yes.
They will always come to you, and you don't know what you can protect them against. Please, parents, let's have these conversations, please.
Okay, so did you ever have any conversation? Have you had any difficult conversations with your mom or your dad? Any sex-related conversation?
My mom, but that came really late in my life. The time they were suspecting me with one guy like that. So they talked about it. The entire family actually met without me and talked about it. And then they delegated my mom to come to me and talk about it. And when she came, I actually laughed and I was like, okay, this is the situation between me and this guy. But we're not having, this was like in my 20s. I said, we're not having sex, but in case you want to know, your girl isn't your girl like that.
You know.
In case that's what you want to know. But that honestly came really late. But I also want to say that, like she said, education. If you were not telling your kids, when I was young, there was a saying that what you don't teach them at home, they will go out
learn
to learn
outside.
it.
Yeah, sure.
Now it's not just outside; it's on the internet.
It's
A click
They
away.
don't, they don't, they don't even need to meet anybody.
They don't need to meet anybody. Go on the
Yes.
internet. Cosmo will help them. Anything, tips, positions, this one. Anything, everything is out on the internet. So now I'm going to weigh in on how do parents censor the children's
The things
access
that they watch
to internet.
Yes.
You give a 10-year-old a phone and say go on a trip to Dubai. That 10-year-old, do you check that phone? How regularly do you check the text? I remember when my parents first gave me a phone. Every night, my mom comes to make sure I'm not doing midnight call. She comes to check. She randomly, she checks my messages. So, do the parents still do stuff like that? Your child is on TikTok. What's the age that people should join TikTok?
Yeah.
And the thing is, for us, social media, we did not grow up with social media.
No, we didn't.
Social media came to us
Yes.
while we
Yes.
were at a certain age.
Yes.
And we battled, she said something about attention. We all battled that need for attention on social media. Where people were posting 20 times a day, posting all sorts. We battled the need for what's that thing? Acceptance.
Acceptance,
Yes.
approval.
Yes,
Yeah,
Approval,
From
yes.
people. We
Yeah.
battled that. So
Absolutely.
imagine small kids. They are growing up to
Yes.
see us on social media doing slay mama, slay queens.
Yes.
We are literally setting an example for them.
Yes.
We've given them phones, uncensored. They're on Instagram. They're on everything. They're looking up to me. They're looking up to Tokema Kinwa. They're looking up to, not knowing that there's a process, there's age, there's a whole lot that has to
Natural
go
process,
on
yes.
before you get there. Before you become that TikTok influencer, before you become that dancer, before you become this, before you become that. The parents are not checking. The
Yeah.
parents are
Lazy
just not checking.
parenting.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's honestly
Lazy
the problem. Give your
parenting.
kids phones. You have the money. If you want your kids to have a better life than you did when you were, it's fine. But what are you doing I have a family. They give they very rich children everything. But what? Dare you go on any website that is not approved in the house? As in the websites that are approved are there. You go on Wikipedia, you go on this, your school
Yes.
lesson website.
True.
Those are the approved websites in that house.
Yeah.
The day that they check the browser history and see that you even went to go and play game, you are finished. That's how it should be. People think it's being over strict. It's not being over strict. Those of us that grew up in strict homes, like he said, we actually turned out all right.
Yes, so
We may look like we are
Yes,
not
so
on
I'm
the
telling you.
on the
True.
outside. We look stupid. We look
Yeah.
we look a bit wild. Or
I
like I'm having nose ring. Who
Walk.
believe that my parents are pastors? Who believe our parents are
telling
pastors?
you.
You understand that kind of
I'm
thing?
telling you.
So it's like we look wild, but at the end of the day, the morality is in
It's
here.
in there,
It's
yes.
actually in here. So I think parents should actually revert to that strict way that we're all trying to run away from. You can be G's with your kids, but you can also be like, this is like
Boundaries.
Like how she is. Yeah,
Yeah.
boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right,
Boundaries.
Audience, would you be teaching your children about sex and at what age?
Okay, so it's a very simple thing. Like she said, when you're trying to hide, I think okay. Let me just say this. I think parents who raise kids from say the 70s, 80s, 90s thought maybe sex education was an abomination.
Introducing them to sex.
Yes, it was something that they could not even talk about.
Yeah.
The local ones will say, no go carry belle. Then the boys no go get belle and all that stuff. Then my own parents did not even talk about it. We're just living our lives. Like you have like really, really cool kids that looked very attractive. But my sisters were very little. They're very beautiful girls. They turned out to be very beautiful women. Like if we come out from the house like on a Saturday just to go out, everybody will be looking at us. Like, so you're having kids who are getting attention from outside. You're not even telling them, this is what my dad would say. If I see anybody here, I'll use my gun. I will shoot anybody who comes close. There was a party in my house and some guys entered the compound. I said they just wanted to enter the compound because the gate was opened. Because they wanted to see why this man has always been locking this gate from people. So those parents used to make it look like nobody should come close to our house. But I grew up with this whole notion that we're having kids now that they are wired differently. Our generation, we could not talk. We were raised to be like timid people. We could not talk. Even when you had an opinion, you could not say, like, for example, your dad is saying something that you feel is not right. You cannot tell your dad that this is wrong. That's wrong.
That's deemed an insult.
But now kids nowadays will tell their dad or their mom, why would you say this? Like my sister's daughter told her one time at the hospital, they went for a checkup. My sister's daughter was sitting down and the daughter said, my sister told the daughter to stand up for somebody else to sit, and she said, why? She said that because the other person is. She said, but I want to sit down too.
As well,
So the mother didn't scream, oh, you have to get up. No, he said because she's older and she's probably needs to, like, oh, okay. Like you have to explain to kids these things to the barest minimum. Like you have to make it known to them that this is it. We are living in a new world where I can check the meaning of everything on the internet now. I can see everything I need to see. These kids can see them. So like she said, censor what they see, have the conversation. For me, I will have the conversation with my kids. I don't know, as soon as they can talk. Because there are instances where kids are being molested as early as 2. So a child comes on and he or she is having pains in their private parts, and somebody's touching them wrongly in school. So you do not want them to even get to that point where that thing is happening. So when a child starts talking, the brain is already functioning, where you're having the conversation, and like she said, letting them know this is your breast, this is your vagina, this is your penis. Like you're not saying this is your wee, this is your BB, this is your DD. No. Let's not do DD and
let's
BB.
Let's not do that anymore. They don't even need that.
Let's give it the
call
name.
It what it is.
Let's call it what it is. This is your breast. This is your So these kids know and say, don't let anybody touch you here in school. If anybody tries, raise an alarm or let me know when you get home. Like make them very comfortable with you when you can talk about everything with them. So that because I'm saying this because I stayed with a family, my sister's family, when they just at the early stage of their marriage and when they just started raising their kids, and I watched how they raise their kids, and it was interesting to watch. They were open with these children. It was an open relationship where they talk about everything. I was like, wow, this is how it's done. Yeah, you get. So I'm thinking, okay, so when kids know these things and they get back home from school and they're telling their mom, this is what happened today in school. This is in details. They're not hiding anything. My sister's daughter is telling my mom, I don't like the way my friend is talking about her mom and her dad. And my sister now likes gist. Oh, really? Sit down. So what did they say? And they give you every detail. So when you don't want to be the parent when you get back from work and the kids are running inside the room.
Because you're too strict.
Yeah, because you're too strict. So you want to be the parents where they get back from school and they're like, God, I can't wait to get to the house and tell my dad or my mom this. They should be your kids should be they should see you as their best friends before the friends in school. So that scenarios like this will not be having sex tapes of 10-year-olds on Twitter. No, we should not be having those kind of conversations, because when you're having a very cool relationship with them, these things will not happen. So like you said, I'm going to have this conversation like as early as possible.
I'm telling you. All right, so there's something we're going to finalize now, because we could go on and on talking about this. Sure. So I've noticed from what we all said here, one thing came up more than once. We kept saying when they go to school, when they go to school, when they go to school. I know over 10 people who were molested by either their maids or their uncles or their aunties, their caregivers.
True, in the house.
Some, their fathers.
In the house.
Yes, in the house. So it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Just, I think at the end of the day, what's very important here is get your kids to be very comfortable to the point where there is nothing
No
like
boundary.
difficult conversations between the two of you.
True.
Absolutely.
There was a day my kid brother came to the house and he was changing and I walked into a room and he jumped. I almost had a heart attack because I was like, why is he jumping?
Yeah.
What happened? I'm not his mother or his father, but I got so confused that I sat down and I had this conversation with him. And since then, it's been cool. So get them to the point where they are very comfortable. And I think the rest will be history. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
all right.
True.
Okay. So on that note, we just have to come to the end of Paul's hot takes today. It's been very, very, very interesting. But the
Intense.
conversation will continue online. Do let us know who you think should be blamed for all the things happening.
Absolutely.
How you think it can be tackled. My name is Rachel M. Isaac. This has been Paul's Hot Takes. See you guys next time. Bye.